Bharat's is always a very hard act to follow, which is why I wanted him to go before me, though he was trying to push me in front. I want to start by thanking Sonia and Girish for inviting me over. And I'm going to take you on a very, very different journey. I'm a bureaucrat. I'm what you call a babu. Okay? And a babu is the equivalent of a four-letter word in India today. For good reason. There are many of us who steal, who loot, who rob the public treasury and go away scot-free, unpunished. And my simple, the theme behind this presentation is to give you examples of many babus who have dreamt extraordinary dreams and have lived and walked their dreams and have achieved it and have made an impact on millions of people. So it is usually intellectually fashionable to look at the bureaucrat through one lens. And I want to show you that there is another side of the story, and that other side of the story also needs to be told. So I'm calling it dream governance. I wanted to call it dream nightmare, but she insisted I should call it dream governance. And the title is In Defense of the Indefensible. Let me start by, by a quotation which I like from Inge. Inge talked about, when he wrote in his times, he said, James I and Louis XIV taught that the king could do no wrong, and their successors lost their heads. Hegel and his disciples taught that the state can do no wrong and plunged the world into war. Our doctrinaire Democrats teach that the majority can do no wrong and bid fair to wreck civilization completely. But our Democrats do wrong, and caught in the middle is the civil service and governance, and that is how many a times they like to dream, all of them like to dream, the dreams turn into nightmares. Okay, what are the challenges of dreaming inside government, or what are the challenges of transformational leadership inside government? I am willing to take a bet with any of you in this room, including Kishore Bayani and Ramesh Wangal, who are corporate leaders par excellence. Try reporting to a Pappu Yadav or a Lalu Yadav or a Sarah Palin and show market-like efficiency and market-like results when you are reporting to a political master. It is impossible to do it. Trust me, working in the IAS in the system is far harder than what many people from the outside would like to believe. You're always expected to deliver market-like results with your hands and feet tied behind your back. You are constantly under judiciary and media scrutiny. Media in particular, with all due respects to the friends from the media, I write regularly in the media. Media is perpetually looking for stories which says man bites dog. They do not want to report stories which says dog bites man. And the IAS works in situations such as these. And it's no wonder that corporate dreamers, and I have some examples for you here, many corporate dreamers who were huge successes inside the corporate sector failed completely when it came to the government. I have examples from India. You have T.T. Krishnamachari. You have Rusi Modi, who tried heading Air India. Yogi Deveshwar, all abysmal failures when they came into government. Likewise in America, you had Robert McNamara, who was a dreamer and probably the best chairman and CEO Ford Motors ever saw. When he moved on to the other side as Defense Secretary of the United States, he was one of the biggest disasters ever. Likewise, more recently, Paul O'Neill, who was George Bush the first Treasury Secretary, who was a disaster, whereas he was a huge success inside Alcoa. The point I'm trying to make is, it's all good and well to dream in the corporate sector and make a success of it, but dreaming inside the government often takes a different kind of a DNA. I'm going to give you examples of 6 different kinds of dreams dreamt by people you wouldn't have heard of. But every single one of them made a difference and touched the lives of millions of people. Let me start by one which I was privileged to be a part of. In 1996, India had a chief minister called Chandrababu Naidu. Many of you would remember him. He was then the toast of the media, and people said he's one of the best things ever to happen to India, and thrice he was offered the prime ministership and he declined. When he took charge in 1996, 4 of us were handpicked by him to create an investment and IT cluster in Andhra Pradesh out of nothing. The state was on the streets with a begging bowl. It did not have money even to pay salaries. From that point to in 2010 today, we have IT exports from the country, from Hyderabad of 30,000 crores or 35,000 crores. 1,100 companies today in the AP IT cluster. And mind you, think of the comparative figures of what it was in 1996, entirely created by the government. My good friend Azim Premji likes to often say, not in my presence though, that the IT industry was successful in India because there was no government. It's completely untrue. The example here is of Andhra Pradesh, where the IT industry was created by the government and went on to become a huge success. The first time I called Bill Gates' office, I couldn't even get through to his assistant Anup. It took me 18 calls to reach Anup. And thereafter, when Bill Gates came into India, we got 5 minutes time with him. And that 5 minutes time moved on to become 1 hour 40 when we made the presentation to him on what AP can do to Microsoft. And that was, like Bharat said, you need the first guy to sign on, like the Nobel laureates he was chasing. And we got Microsoft to sign on, and its first and only offshore development center outside Redmond, Seattle, even today, exists in the top 2 stories of the building I'm showing you there. Another facet of this dream was e-government. Everyone hates bureaucracy, hate filling forms, hate standing in lines. First time ever in India, we dreamt of a dream where the point of decision of a government service and the point of delivery of a government service could be separated. The point of decision of a government service always has to be inside government because it's a statutory function. But the point of delivery can be anywhere where I can bury a piece of silicon and a piece of fiber. And then started the e-government revolution. Today we all go online and pay our electricity bills, get our driving licenses online. The seeds of that were sown in the dream that we dreamt of in 1996. How many of you are familiar with Tirupati? Tirupati overtook the Vatican last year to become the richest temple in the world. It has about 25,000 to 1 lakh visitors every single day. Every single day. Till about a few years ago, people had to stand in inhuman cages for 2 to 3 days in order to get a few seconds darshan of the Lord. You would come in front of the deity for just a few seconds and fold your hands and you'd be asked to move because there was a queue of 2 or 3 days waiting behind you. And then introduced a simple algorithm and a wristband which is bar-coded. Now pilgrims do not wait for 2 or 3 days, but their waiting time has been reduced to just about 2 hours. And they get a better quality darshan of the Lord. Another very different example of another dream which this man had, and in the face of enormous vested interest even from small-time vendors and shopkeepers who wanted the old system to continue, he managed to achieve